Yo, man, we on poppin'? This is the greatest local rapper ever. I'm dropping a couple of things on y'all real quick. My son keep talking about Paw Patrol. So I came here and got him some Paw Patrol.
Here's a little tip for you. Never fly first class.
I got a little quick one today. Really, I just want to touch on the science of as above, so below, everywhere else around you. Now, most of y'all been hearing as above, so below. That's a half truth. Don't forget everywhere else around you. Everywhere else around you. That's a full circle, full square. That's the cube within the cube. That's the 1080 becoming 360, 360 becoming 720, 720, becoming HD and up and above. Excuse me. I need some baking soda and some water. But yeah, I'm in here about to get my little kit. Because I can take things around me and do experiments with them. For example, showing the kids how to make their own study guides, right? No, most of y'all only come and get stuff for y'all children when the school is starting. And that shows how irresponsible you are. You should always be replacing things for your children, because you should be drawing maps with your children. Anything you don't know, you should make your children responsible for finding out for you, because their minds are sharper than yours. And eventually they'll become your spiritual computers. In other words, they'll become what you call Google for, what you use Google for. They will become it. Oh, man. So, the as above, so below, everywhere else around you, science deals with actually teaching your children awareness, meaning what's around them. See, consciousness is not as strong as awareness. What do I mean by that? You have to know where you are at all times. And you're always where you are. So you have to know yourself at all times. When you find yourself in places where you feel bad vibes, you ain't supposed to be there. You're supposed to bring joy to your day. But that's not why I got y'all attention right now. Why I got y'all attention right now is to touch on the fact that you can't tell me about what you're conscious of if you can't tell me what you're aware of, what's around you. What state are you in? What city are you in? How many stars are on your flag? What does your flag represent? What was the earliest crime in your area? Who was the first hero? Who was the first crime preventer in your area? I like that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta study these things, because you can't be telling me about Africa and you don't know how many countries are in America. Or you don't know how many countries are in Africa. How you gonna go to Africa and you don't know how many countries are in Africa? How you gonna go to Asia and you don't know how many countries are in Asia? First of all, when your children ask you how many countries are in North America, and most of y'all say United States, Canada, and Mexico. But there's 20 other countries just in North America. And I say that to say that when you think of Americans, most of y'all only think of United States. Y'all forget the United States is one of the smallest portions out of the 23 countries in North America. And there's 12 countries in South America. So to put them together, that's 35 countries on the Western Hemisphere. So I'll ask you again, before you can tell me about anything else, you need to start learning where you are, what's around you. How can you teach me about the world and you don't know how the world is broken apart? How can you put the world back together and you don't know the boundaries that split up the world? See, there's 46 countries in Asia. And the crazy part about that is the smallest country in Asia is called Maldives. The largest country is China, right? And when you study these concepts, you see how nobody really gives you the actual size of Russia. Normally you find Russia on a map in its concordance with Europe, but it never gives you the full measurement of Europe and Russia put together. Russia keeps separating itself from Europe. Russia is larger than Europe. When you deal with Africa and you look above Africa, that's where you find Russia. But Africa itself has 54 countries. The largest country in Africa is Algeria. The smallest country in Africa is Seychelles. So when you deal with Africa is mostly known for the Nile River, the Congo River, and the Niger River, or the Niger River. Niger River. There's a river called Niger. River Niger. That was a movie out in the 80s, y'all. So I'm helping y'all with awareness, with the science of as above, so below, everywhere else around you. Nah, she ain't getting it. Get that out of here. Because how can you keep telling me about being conscious? Oh, you know about this as you know about that. But you don't know what's going on around you. You don't have a sense of awareness. That means your consciousness is dead. You can't even properly use it. So when you deal with Asia, you're dealing with the Chang Jiang. You're dealing with the Yangtze Angara. You're dealing with the Hongaya. These are the longest rivers, right? So Asia, 46 countries. Africa, 54 countries, right? But that's not it. You still have Australia and Oceania. Oceania is 14 countries. Just gonna vibe a little bit. Oceania is 14 countries, y'all. Most of y'all didn't know that it even existed. There's a place called Oceania. It's named after the ocean. It means the land that literally crawled out the ocean. Most land is evaporation. I keep explaining that to y'all. In other words, land is water foam. And the word foam is the root word for form. So when water foams, like your mouth foams in the morning, you're crusty, things of that nature, gotta wipe your mouth off, that's land. There's 14 countries in Australia and Oceania. Australia and Oceania are one and the same. Right? So when you're dealing with Australia, the largest area in Australia is Nauru, which is another word for Nuri, fire. Nauru. Certain translations, Nibiru. Right? And then you have the smallest, well, actually it's not the largest area, it's the second largest, that's really the smallest area. There's a larger area called Australia. The largest country by area is Australia. Right? The smallest country is Nauru. A lot of people thought that Australia itself was separate from Oceania. But Australia itself is the largest part of itself. Now the largest urban areas in Australia is Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Barch, Auckland, and New Zealand. New Zealand is a part of Australia, fella. And New Zealand is actually where you should go if you leave America. It's the newest place on the planet. It's literally the newest place on the planet. Out of the rest of the planet, New Zealand is considered the newest place. It's one of the freshest places. See, why is Australia special? Because Australia has the oldest history of original people. Australia's one of the forefathers. Remember, if Africa's the mother, then Africa's a child of our creators. Africa's not the creator, it's a child of the creator. Egypt, we taught a quantity versus a trinity. What I mean by that is, Trinity is a broken quantity. We didn't teach Father, Son, Holy Ghost. We taught Father, Mother, and together they produce a Son. And that Son holds their Holy Ghost, their spirit, the spirit of both of them. I think I need something for the phone. So, yeah, that's what I need right there. So with that being said, so why is the mother taken out of the equation? See, these are homosexuals. These are Romans who want to touch on little kids. Pedophilias, popes. The Roman Catholics is the one who made Sunday the day of worshiping the sun. They worship the sun on Sunday. Why would you get up on the day that God is resting and pray to God? If your father is sleeping, why would you wake him up on the day he's supposed to be off resting? So why would you wait till the day God is resting to go to church? Why wouldn't you go while God is saying, hey, my working hours are from first day to sixth day, and on the seventh day I'm off? Why would you call up God on his off day? So these same people started to call God on his off day, and these same people took the mother out of the quadrity and made a trinity. Now it's no longer mother, it's no longer Father, Mother, Son, and Holy Ghost. Now it's just Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And the mother is out of the equation, and she's being disrespected as we speak. But the mother's the first teacher, and the mother's normally who taught you the world. She's normally who taught you how the map looks. Your mother is normally who taught you how the world looks. Your mother is normally who taught you how many countries were around you. You got to keep in mind, family, that the polar regions are also an area on the planet. Percent of Earth's water area is 4.1% of the polar regions. That means close to 5% of the water on the planet makes up the polar regions, Antarctica, and things of nature. See, now, the deepest point there is called the Mali Deep. See, there's a reason these things are named after Mali and drugs of that nature. It's to take you deeper and deeper into depression. It's named after a place. A lot of people don't know Molar, the Molar, right? A lot of people don't know the area of the Arctic Ocean, right? A lot of people don't know the coldest places on Earth. See, a lot of people don't know the highest points on Earth. So we can't always get mad at each other when we disagree on things that we don't understand fully. How can you argue with each other as a conscious community when we don't have an awareness community to govern the conscious community? You got to be aware of what you're teaching. Otherwise, you're disconnected from it. Europe itself, right, has 46 countries. Now, how is Europe, right, having an area, the smallest area in Europe is the Vatican City. It's not even a square mile, y'all. The Vatican City is 0.44 square kilometers. It's 0.17 square miles. It's not even a mile in square. And the most the most people in Europe right now, close to 150 million people, are in Russia. In Russia alone, there's over 142 million people. Right? Now, the largest urban areas by population, Istanbul, which is Turkey. Turkey is also the American bird. Turkey is set up by people who wanted to reconquer America. It's named after America. Turkey is. That's why Turkey to this day is the celebration symbol for Thanksgiving, because it was a reestablishment of conquering America. America's been conquered before, over and over again. And so the people in ancient Turkey had made vows to come and conquer this side of the planet. And they did. And they put the turkey up as a symbol of the Turkish government reconnecting back to the old Germany, called the Midwest. So you have Moscow, Russia, you have Paris, France, you have London, United Kingdom, and you have Madrid, Spain. These are the 5 largest urban areas in Europe. Now, keep in mind, now Europe has more countries than both North America and South America, but it's small. How can such a small place be so broken apart? How can Europe have more countries than Africa? How can Europe pretty much have more countries than Asia? I mean, 46 countries? And the largest country is Russia. Now think over this for a minute. Europe itself, as a continental physical fact, its area, right, is 3,841 square miles. However, its largest country by area is 6,601,000 square miles. I'll say this again, 6,601,000 square miles. To be exact, 6,601,665 square miles. So 6,601,655 square miles. That's almost twice as large as Europe. So why wasn't Europe mentioning Russia when you mention the continental physical facts? That'll confuse somebody. That's what I said. They don't really give you Russia's full spectrum of area. You will have to do it separate. Whenever you look at Europe, they don't give you Russia's area. You have to find it out separately. They give you Europe's, and they separate it from Russia, because if you put Europe's together with Russia, right? Because that's a contradiction. How can you tell me that the area of Europe is 3,841,000 square miles, but then you tell me the largest country in Europe is 6,600,000 square miles? That's almost, how can a country have a country inside of it that's twice its size? So that's what I mean by that, family. You got to check your maps, and you got to check out what they're saying. Keep up with the mathematics. See, the only special places in Europe are the Volga, the Danube, or the Danube, right? And the Dnieper. These are the longest rivers in Europe. Remember, the only place that's actually special anywhere are where the rivers are. So the least popular country is the Vatican City. It only has 1,000 people at all times, which is a problem, because how can 1,000 people be the rulers and the sayers of the entire world? So when you're dealing with North America, family, you're dealing with Mississippi and Missouri, you're dealing with Mackenzie and Peace, and you're dealing with the Yukon River. There's a river here called the Peace River, the Mackenzie Peace River, and there's a Mississippi-Missouri River. Mississippi and Missouri are the exact same thing. When you look them up, they're all considered one river. So Mississippi and Missouri is the same place, according to the river system. A lot of people don't know that. How can you tell me about America doing this and America doing that, and you don't even know your river systems? In South America, the longest rivers are Amazon. And right now, the #1 business in America is the Amazon. It's named after the longest river in South America, the Paraná Rio de la Plata. And don't forget about Purus. These are the 3 longest rivers. So enough of things of this nature. The largest country in South America is Brazil, and it has 3 million square miles. It's just as large. It's just as large as Europe. Brazil is just as large as Europe. You see, Brazil has the most original people on it as we speak. A lot of y'all didn't know that. Brazil alone is bigger than Europe. So, what do we really know about this world? Because I just gave you a degree, a small degree. You know, it's really a traveler's degree. That's, you got to really travel. So that's like, it's based on travels. You know what I'm saying? And under the science of Paka Daha, that would be Paka. Paka means to travel. So family, I want you to check me out on the facts, and put yourself in a situation where you can kind of study this with your family, because who gonna teach your family if you don't? At least get together and teach each other. At least teach each other about the countries, because you're gonna be using the countries. You're gonna travel. So at least know what surrounds you, family. You can't be teaching back to Africa, or we were in America. You can't teach flat Earth, and you can't tell me how many countries are on the planet. You can't tell me anything, and you don't know what's going on around you. How you looking up? As above, so below. You looking up and down, but you're not looking side to side. That's why it's good to pray, because in the morning when you pray, you learn to look side to side and wish peace to each side. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon you. See, I need some black light. Somebody to give me a black light, an intellect, so I can tie my, just kind of lay back and light this black light and just relax. You know what I'm saying? Just relax. So yeah, man. I ain't want much of y'all time. Just, I hope that helped y'all out. Y'all can pause the video and do your research and learn the planet, the awareness of the planet, the awareness. Where are you? So I just pull rank on the conscious community. How? Because I gave you something greater than consciousness. What's greater than consciousness? Awareness. You now heard it from the greatest rapper ever. Or the greatest local rapper ever. I'm sorry, y'all. The greatest local rapper ever. Peace.